Good morning. It is Sunday right now, which means it is two things. It is my long run day, and it is also the day I go get all of my bagels for the week because I basically go buy 6 bagels plus a sandwich for this morning. That's breakfast for the week just to make my life a little bit easier with work. So I'm gonna have to get the bagels. I don't know when I'm gonna run. It is pouring down rain outside and I really wanna get outside, especially after all the snow the last few days. So I'm gonna see how all of that turns out today. Okay, so I am dressed and about to head out for my run. Basically, I actually was not, I can't figure out which one is supposed to be the camera. Basically, I wasn't actually sure if I was gonna get to go for this run or not because it's been raining all day. So I just changed clothes really quick. I originally planned like a true long run today. I'm not feeling up to it. My legs are a little fatigued from yesterday and then it's just been raining, so I wasn't even sure if I was gonna get to run. So I think the plan is like nothing long, like maybe like 30 to 45 minutes. I'm gonna decide when I get there if I'm gonna do intervals or not because I also missed my interval run this week thanks to the weather as well. So I'm gonna get going. I really kind of wish I was more prepared today. So I've got my On running shoes. I just got these, I just started wearing them a few weeks ago. And I like them for the most part so far. They are less supportive than the Asics I was wearing. I do wear, and you can't see it, I wear feature socks and they have arch support built in. So I'm gonna go to the park, get started, and just kind of see how I feel. Okay, so I made it to the park to run. I'm still not really excited about this run. I think I've come up with a plan. So this is supposed to be my long run day. Long run's just not happening. I've been struggling a lot, not necessarily like with the physical part of it. I went on a 5-mile run last week. That's like a week and a half ago now. That went well. And I was actually like, even though I'm running really slow right now, I was happy that like my pace was super consistent on that one. Today, I think I am a little bit fatigued from riding yesterday because when you're riding on the trainer for 2 hours, your legs literally do not stop moving for 2 hours. And my other longer ride recently, that was an hour and a half, was outside. So I got to freewheel. I had some hills, like a little bit more variation where you can kind of get a break. So I think I am fatigued from yesterday. That's not really the reason I don't want to do my long run right now. It's more just honestly, like I'm not feeling it. I think if I try and do it, it's not going to be done with the same like intention as if I was like really feeling up to it right now. So I'm going to try, sorry, I keep an eye on like people walking in the parking lot around me. I'm going to just go out for 30 minutes, just like try and get in. Like my running's been a little bit inconsistent over the last couple weeks anyway. So I think the rain is done for the day. I'm going to go for 30 minutes. I'm going to do 5 minutes warm up. And then I think I'm going to try and do some like short, high intensity intervals. So like probably anywhere from like 30 seconds to a minute at like 5K pace. And then longer recoveries just because I also haven't done any speed work at all this week. So I'm going to go see how that feels. I've got my hair done and it's a little like weird loop bun that I do for running. It's just to keep the hair off my neck. So I either do this or I'll like put it in a ponytail and then braid it. So I'm gonna go attempt my run and maybe go pick up a couple groceries after this for the week. Okay, so I'm a little out of breath, mainly just because it's cold. I actually dressed like, at first I thought I might be a little bit warm in the middle there at one point, but it is really windy now, so I was dressed about right. I have on long leggings and then a quarter zip. I really wish I had taken my phone or my camera though, because there's a small river that runs on this route and it was so high. As I started running, somebody was like, oh yeah, it's flooded. It's like, great, I'm gonna run like quarter mile. Greenwood's gonna be flooded, and so I'm gonna be basically doing a track run. Fortunately to them, flooded was just like a big puddle that I kind of tiptoed through to try and keep my shoes from getting too wet. And then like one small section where it's just a little bit of mud. So overall, it ended up being pretty good. I ran for 35 minutes. I did just inside that 35 minutes, I did 5 30-second pickups where I was going like, I'll have to double check the pace, probably a little bit faster than 5K pace. I was really trying to focus on like not letting my feet hit the ground too long. I will try and take my camera with me sometimes running. I'm still just not used to that, like having my camera and filming in a public place sometimes. And also today I kind of just wanted to get this over with and kind of like get in my zone. I don't listen to music or anything, so I really just kind of like focus on my thoughts and how I'm feeling while I'm running. And honestly, like overall I felt good. I definitely could have run longer, especially if I didn't put those intervals in there. So overall, even though I didn't do a long run today, it was a good workout. Okay, so I am back from my run. I did a quick trip to the grocery store. Probably have a weird camera angle here, like looking at my chest and not my face. It's really tough to find like good tripods. I have just like a little one my GoPro is on right now. But I did a quick trip to the grocery store on my way back because I do usually go to Fresh Market once a week for vegetables. I buy fish there, but my company actually gave us Omaha Steaks. Omaha Steaks boxes for Christmas. Mine, I got the fish box, so I have a bunch of salmon, red snapper, sole, some battered cod, I think some shrimp in my freezer right now, so I don't really need protein, but I did need vegetables. So I got baby shiitake mushrooms. Probably can't see that very well. I like to roast these with just olive oil in the oven. That's how I like to cook everything, honestly. Brussels sprouts. I'm actually about to cook some Brussels sprouts. I've got some from last week that I still need to cook before they go bad. I try not to buy too many vegetables, so I am having Brussels sprouts with dinner tonight. Last vegetable is asparagus. I like skinnier asparagus, and I like to cook it until pretty much like it's almost burnt. And same with the Brussels sprouts. I cook everything until it's almost burnt. It's delicious that way. I got this roasted garlic and olive oil couscous. I'm probably gonna cook that and then have the mushrooms and some Brussels sprouts with it as its own meal. I got cheese. So this is Bella Vitano gold cheese. I like it on pasta or with the couscous. I also think I'm having cheese and crackers with my Brussels sprouts for dinner. So this is a Gruyere. I had to find like the littlest piece possible because Gruyere cheese gets really expensive. All cheese gets really expensive. So I'm having that with some crackers tonight. I am a really restless sleeper, so I decided I want to try some chamomile tea. So this is Tea Pig's Calm Herbal Tea. So we'll see how that is. Got some crackers. I know these say gluten-free. I do not have celiac. I do not have gluten intolerance. These are just delicious crackers. That's a cat. Now I'm gonna try and move her. Last thing, yogurt. These are just a good, like I was saying, these are just a good snack. I'll have them all at like lunchtime when I'm working from home. I get the mixed berry flavor. It's just like easy to drink quickly, and I think they're good. They're not like the greatest for you because I know people say yogurt has all this added sugar, but for me, when I need something quick that's gonna keep me full and hold me over for a while I'm working, they've been a great option. So that's all my groceries. I'm going to start some Brussels sprouts in the oven and go shower and change out of my running clothes. So I'm not usually an herbal tea drinker, but I did make that. It's the, I don't know if you can see that, but it's the Tea Pig's Calm herbal tea. So it's, I can't remember what's in it. I want to say it's chamomile and other herbs. I made it, you can see my cat, he doesn't want to be in the video. But I made it because I am a really restless sleeper. I always have been. So I'm gonna try this, and I'm also, once I finish up my stretching, my other plan is to, for like the last 30 minutes to an hour before I go to bed, I'm gonna try to turn off all of my screens. Really just means my cell phone, my iPad, and my laptop because I don't really use the TVs. So I'm gonna finish up my stretching and then drink this and see how the rest of the night goes. So it is Monday now, Monday afternoon, because I worked all day And I don't think y'all wanted to see me sit on hold with the IRS for 2 hours and then get frustrated when I got disconnected. So that's been my day, has pretty much been working. And now I'm about to head down to the garage to do a strength workout. So if you watched my last video, you'll know like I was having some issues with what looked like mostly my squat form. And then when you look at like the Romanian deadlifts, you'll see my neck was like bent back a little bit, where your neck should stay in line with your spine. So I decided what I want to do today is mostly to focus on stability and mobility today. So it's going to be probably mostly body weight, and then the movements I do for my shoulder for physical therapy. So that's kind of the plan for today. I don't have anything else on my schedule, and I'm hoping also to kind of like stretch out my hips a little bit. They were definitely irritated while I was just sitting at my desk today, which is new to me. So I'm going to go down and I'll film part of it. Probably just like the mobility and like stability stuff and not the physical therapy, because you saw that last week. All right. So similar to I think I did a previous clip with a voiceover. Figured I'd do a little bit of voiceover here. So I did cut this down and you're only going to see certain things. I skipped over like all my upper body stuff that I do as physical therapy. So before this, I did some butterfly stretch. I'm just really trying to figure out like opening up my hips, getting more mobility in my hip flexors and my hips, because you can see here in these Cossack squats, I have like no mobility. The other big thing is stability, because with running, there is a high risk of injury if you do not do your strength training essentially. So to me, like mobility and stability, like one, yes, hopefully they will improve my running speed, but also like my strength training is also injury prevention. So I don't want to end up getting myself injured because I neglected things like stability and mobility. Here I am doing a butterfly stretch again, just really like not having to fold into it, just really focusing on feeling the stretch, making sure I'm not overdoing it. And then I came into my first set of squats. So I did 3 sets of squats, and each time I kind of focused on different things. I played with my stance a little bit, and this is at 2 times speed, so you can imagine how slow I really was going on this. I was trying to stay a little bit more upright, because I do find that I tend to bend forward very far, because when I first tried barbell squatting, I did find that I low bar squatted, so I did bend forward a lot. Obviously, without that weight lower on my back, I don't need to be leaning forward like that when I'm doing body weight or goblet squats, or more of the squats I do now with just dumbbells are closer to a front squat. During this second round, I did play with my stance a little bit. You can see my toes are pointed pretty far out. I'm still kind of trying to figure out what's optimal for me and my biomechanics. I did feel like on a couple of them, I did succeed in getting lower, and you might notice that like sometimes I got down to what felt like as low as I could go, and then I just tried to push it a little bit forward. I also had to think though about what I was doing with my feet, because one of the cues I learned originally when I was squatting was to push through your heels, but more recently the advice I've gotten is to really focus more on your midfoot. And so like focusing on both your heel and then like the ends of your toes, so you're really focusing like the center is that midpoint. So I was also focusing on that, because I did have one rep at some point in there where I lost my balance a little bit because all of my weight was in my heels. I then moved into another stretch. So this again is just for those hip flexors. It's kind of a modified child's pose. So my legs were further apart on this than they would be normally. And then just for a little bit of upper body, I would kind of come out of it for a second to release it, stretch, and I would do a single modified push-up. So fun fact about me, I do not do push-ups because I had a shoulder injury when I was in high school. So for a long time, I just stayed away from them because I did not have good form and I would dump too much weight in my shoulder.
And so actually, I believe this is the set where I did 2 modified push-ups. That was the most push-ups I have done in a long time. So again, mobility, stability of my shoulder is something that also needs that stability because of my old injury. But I have found that because I do my physical therapy frequently enough and because I'm being very careful with it, I can now do 2 modified push-ups. And hopefully here in the future, I will get to the point I can do a full push-up again. The last couple of things that I went into on this were after this, I went into some lunges. So I did pretty short sets of the lunges. So it was basically alternating reverse lunges of 4 each leg. And on those lunges, I did try to make sure I was bringing my knee all the way to the ground. So on that first couple I did them on the concrete in the garage and then quickly switched to the yoga mat because that hurt. So I am trying to just fix my form. I used to actually be like very strict on my lunge form. Like knee had to go to the ground. If I'm doing walking lunges, I pause between each rep. But clearly I was not doing that recently. So just working on really, again, focusing on that form, just kind of making sure that I'm not compromising form just to move more weight, to make me feel stronger. Like this workout left me sore, mainly my quads, not so much my hamstrings or glutes, but that actually surprised me that I could get such a great workout from just body weight. The last thing here is another hip flexor stretch. So this can be done with a block, with I've done it with a foam roller, which I have a new foam roller coming on Thursday, or it can be done with a bolster, like the yoga pillow. So I also have one of those upstairs in my house, and I've done this when my hips hurt me while working. So I always start just with kind of like this will open your hips a little bit, and then the next step is to bring up one knee towards your chest, and you will really feel that deep stretch in your opposite hip flexor. So this is my number one favorite hip flexor stretch. I really should probably be doing it more often with my current goals, and I'm going to stop the commentary there.
So I'm in the middle of cooking dinner. Sorry for the vent noise. So I have this is a gas stove and oven, well, 2 ovens. And so they say you're supposed to run the vent all the time when it's running. So this is my vegetable and carb, well, one of my carbs. So I've got a little over half of the bag of Brussels sprouts I bought yesterday and a bunch of purple potatoes. I season the potatoes with just salt and pepper. And then I season the Brussels sprouts with Carl's. You can buy it, at least where I live. It's sold at Ace Hardware. It's the most delicious seasoning you'll ever get. So it doesn't even take that much of it to season the Brussels sprouts. So I'm gonna stick these in my oven for, I think, about 35 minutes. And then partway through, I'll start my lower oven to do the fish that I'm gonna have with it. So it's not pretty, but it looks delicious. I'm gonna go sit down and eat this. It's actually better balanced than, and I say better balanced just because I think the potatoes will keep me more satisfied and full. It's better balanced than some of the other meals I eat. So like sometimes I'll do like a crab cake and just Brussels sprouts. But today I did Brussels sprouts and the potato. I don't know why I went with purple potato. It just looked good. I don't know why I decided to carry the camera and my food. So I switched back to my slippers. Much more comfortable now. I'm going to eat this and then maybe film a little talking. And then I've started doing some like nightly stretching. So might film like on top of the stretching I did earlier. I might show a little bit of that. going to make my tea and go upstairs and maybe read a book. So I finally got a spot in my house, and it took like, there's like a cat toy and then a box on top of the cat toy. But I finally found somewhere I can at least, I'm going to lower this. There we go. Finally found somewhere I can film inside my house, just sitting down without like having to hold the camera out to the side, or angle myself awkwardly on the couch where, I mean, there is a bit of a shadow. I guess I could turn on the lights over there if I wanted to. So that's exciting for me. I did just finish my dinner. So I had the Brussels sprouts, potatoes, and the fish. Everything was good. Fish, obviously, like, it's not the most thrilling thing ever. And honestly, from Omaha Steaks, they're probably like, oh, somebody might feed this to their kid. I do also have, like, I think I mentioned red snapper, marinated salmon, and sole almondine or something like that. That's the one I'm really excited for. I was just I wanted to cook from frozen tonight, and I wanted something easy because I do like easy when it comes to dinner. Tomorrow night I think is gonna be leftovers from my grandma's house last week. So had that. I go into my office tomorrow, so I would take you with me, but I don't want my coworkers to think I'm that weird yet. I've been there for almost a year, and I've just slowly like let them know how weird I am over time. I'm pretty sure they look at me. Hang on, Garmin's going off. I'm pretty sure they look at me and they're like, oh yeah, that's the girl that can only talk about cats and bicycles. So that's always fun. So yeah, I found a spot to film. I had my dinner. It was delicious. I'm trying to incorporate a little bit more of carbs into my dinner because sometimes I finish my dinner when I do cook things where I do like just, like I think I mentioned like crab cake and Brussels sprouts. And I feel like, like going into the night, because once in a while I eat really early, that sometimes, especially like if I eat at normal dinner time, which like right now it just got to be 7 o'clock. If I eat at normal dinner time, sometimes by the time I'm going to bed, if that's all I have for dinner, I just don't feel as satisfied or full. That was a very satisfying meal that I just had. I am the right level of full, so I did clean my plate. But I do, because I live alone, I also only cook so much food as I know I'm going to eat because I do try to avoid food waste when I can. So that's like, I know a bag of Brussels sprouts, I can get like about a meal and a half worth of vegetable out of them. And then I think for Thursday night, my plan is to cook some mushrooms, asparagus, and the remainder of the Brussels sprouts, as well as the couscous I bought yesterday, and kind of like, well, knowing me, I won't eat it together, but I'll put it in a bowl together before I eat it. So that's probably going to be Thursday. So I do try and just buy enough vegetables that I can like finish them in a week so I'm not wasting a bunch of food, because I like living alone, a lot of things it's really tough to find meals for one person. And that's how I end up eating a lot of frozen pizza. I haven't been to Kroger yet this week though, so I have not bought a frozen pizza yet. Probably will. Might go tomorrow. So the plan tomorrow is to bike. I don't know when I'm going to ride my bike because I'm going to my office. My options are 4:30 in the morning and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I like 4:30 in the morning because it means I get home, I can just go ahead and cook dinner, just relax for the night. But I also like 5 in the afternoon because it means I get to sleep a little bit later, about an hour later in the morning. So we'll see how that works out. I know I'm being like all over the place rambling right now. Next thing is I've got to do some stretching. I have to make myself stretch. I am really trying to bring some more self-care into my life. And that means my chamomile tea I'm going to have after, like, I guess I'll go ahead and start the water for that while I stretch. My chamomile tea and my stretching. And it's going to be a game of how many cats decide to show up during my stretching, because my guess is 3, because I just saw the 4th upstairs sleeping in his cat bed. But we'll see if maybe he'll come down and make an appearance in my stretching, because that's what you do.
So this is just a sped up version of my stretching routine I've been doing at night. So I have a few basic stretches. So I start with just a quad stretch because your quads are involved so much in cycling. And I don't count, I don't count numbers. I count the number of breaths because that's how I learned some stretching and yoga was to do like 5 breaths per stretch. And I'm taking very deep breaths, kind of like that thought of breathing into the stretch while you're doing it. So that's kind of what I'm going through here is going through that 5 breaths on each side. The trick I found of balancing on one leg and kind of the easiest way if you don't have good balance is to find something in front of you that you're focusing on, and that's going to help you kind of hold your balance if you just focus on one thing that's not moving. I did change the camera angle here so you can see the floor better. Also, we're at 3 cats right now. We're waiting on the 4th. And he got in the way. But I am doing a hip flexor stretch, so this is the kneeling version of it. So that's a kneeling lunge where I'm really focusing on squaring my hips so that I can feel it in my hip flexors and not as much in my quads, which is the other place where you might feel this stretch. You can also do, there is a standing version of this, but since I'm not very mobile, I find that a seated version or a kneeling version is better for me. Then I went into a forward fold. So I don't know if I talked about this before. I do bend my knees a lot in this, and that helps me get a really deep stretch in my hamstrings. And there is cat number 4. So we got all 4 cats in this stretching. The very last stretch I do, it is, I don't know the name of it, so I either do this stretch, which is your legs crossed and holding your ankles, or I'll do upside down pigeon, and that just helps me get a really deep stretch across the back of my hips. So those are kind of my go-to nightly stretches. I'm trying to do them every single night right now. I am on, I think, day 4 at the moment.
And now I'm gonna sit. Actually, I'll probably like get up and move around and throw away trash and get my stuff together for the night. I should probably go pack my work laptop for tomorrow because I am going to the office and I worked from home today. This week I'm at home today, in the office tomorrow. I might be in the office Wednesday, literally just because I want to use the treadmill in the gym. Or I could squeeze in a run at lunchtime if the weather's supposed to be nice. So it depends on the weather Wednesday. I may or may not go to the office. It also works out because I swim downtown, and so the pool's right by my office, so that is nice. And then Thursday I'm in the office because of a meeting and free lunch. Tomorrow is also free lunch. Obviously, people go for free lunch. It's not always like wonderful. It might be a salad, but we also have good snacks in our break room if I don't like lunch. Friday I'll be at home because nobody wants to go to the office on Friday. And then we're back at Saturday. And Saturday means I think I have another 2-hour bike ride. So gotta pick out my route for that. I already looked ahead and I know which worlds, and I'm leaning towards either London or Watopia. Tomorrow morning I'm riding, well, if I ride tomorrow morning, I am leaning towards, I think it was London, Yorkshire, no, New York, Yorkshire, and Watopia. I know New York was one of them because I couldn't find anything I wanted to do in New York, because the one route I found that I thought was oh, this is a good choice was, it had that stupid fake KOM, well, not fake. It had the virtual bridge KOM in it, and I just don't like that. So probably Watopia, or I forget what the other world was. Maybe it was McCurry Island still. I should double check this. But it's an hour and 4-minute ride. So I really should double check this. I might have the totally wrong routes because I also thought about riding this afternoon, but the way my hips were feeling when I was working, I was just this is gonna be super painful, or not painful, but just uncomfortable. And I feel like it was more productive use of my time, or I was gonna stretch and do the strength training either way, but I just feel overall it was probably better to do that than to ride my bike. and that is my tea. So I'm gonna stop here for the night and have my tea. Okay, so I am dressed to bike. I am just not on my bike yet. Gonna get on it. Just need a minute. I ended up working about, not a lot later, but like an extra 20 or 30 minutes, which just meant a little bit more traffic on my drive home. Just wanted to get something kind of like out of the way so I don't have to worry about it tomorrow. So just got home from work. I made myself go ahead and change into my work clothes before having a snack. Tonight is definitely the night. Like, I really wish I had just like a frozen pizza in my freezer, because that would be dinner if I had one. So I'm going to eat my granola bar, drink some water because I don't think I drink enough water today. And the goal is, it's 5:32 right now. My goal is by 5:50 to be on, and the cat's knocking my hand. My goal is by 5:50 to be on my bike. So I'm going to see how that goes. Obviously, I sound like super excited. It's an hour and 4-minute interval ride, which honestly, like, intervals are better than like steady state for me. So we'll see how it goes. And then I'm going to go ahead and after I bike, do some stretching, just like I did last night before I made my tea. So bike, stretching, and then figure out what I'm going to do about dinner. It might just be I eat one of my bagels and I get Panera tomorrow morning instead. Because I hate getting done this late. And this is why I should have biked this morning. But I think I sleep weird, which like leaves my neck feeling kind of weird in the morning. And then I have a tension headache from it. So I had a really bad headache this morning. I didn't sleep well last night. And that kept me from getting up. I'm going to stop talking and eat my granola bar and get on my bike. Still no heart rate because I ended up just ordering batteries off Amazon because I haven't had a chance to go to the shop. Which honestly, batteries are probably the same price, even with my pricing as an employee. So, we got an hour and 4 minutes I need to ride. I still have a bit of a headache from this morning. What's my other option? Yorkshire. I feel like I've done a lot of Yorkshire. This is too long for the hour I have. Do I want to go up a big hill? It'd be 800 feet of climbing once, and I'd have to do it multiple times. London flat, London loop. I guess we're doing the Greater London Loop. I think this will do Box Hill. So that part's gonna suck. This might be the last thing I film because maybe I'll film stretching. I don't feel great today, so I'm gonna attempt to ride my bike for an hour and 4 minutes and see how it goes. So I am sitting on my couch for just a second. Just got done with bike ride. This is now my little outro video. I'm not gonna film my stretching tonight. I am about to make some food and stretch, make some tea. Shit. I'm supposed to edit this video now. Okay, and edit this video while I drink my tea, and then it probably won't go up until Wednesday because of like the time it takes to just like convert the files and everything. So it'll be Wednesday instead of my arbitrary Tuesday this week. I'm tired now. So that is the plan for the night. The biggest thing, like, I think I figured out today is I do need to plan a little bit better, because if I had planned better, I would not be sitting here. Like, I had shrimp. Well, part of it was I had shrimp for lunch at my office today, and the only, like, the leftovers I was going to eat today are shrimp and grits with, like, some peppers in it. And honestly, the, like, flavor of red pepper just does not sound good to me right now. So I'm thinking I'm about to just eat one of my bagels for dinner tonight, and then I can run by Panera on my way home from swim practice tomorrow instead of eating a bagel. Because I really just, like, I want something quick so I can sit down, edit, and relax. And do all of this tomorrow, except tomorrow I am working from home and I've got a 30-minute run on the schedule that I'm hoping I can do outside because there's just enough daylight that if I leave my house, like if I try and get out of work at like 3:45, I can get to where I want to run, and I can run outside until just after 4:30. So the plan is swim in the morning and then do that quick 30-minute run in the afternoon. It's just like 30 minutes steady state. So that's tomorrow. And I'm thinking next week, maybe I do need to sit down this weekend and just plan out like, okay, here are my workouts for the week. Here's how I think work's going to go. Here's what I need to do for food. Like, do I need to prep something on the weekend? Do I need to have a frozen pizza? Do I need to plan one night? Like, if I think I'm just going to have a terrible day at work one day, which should not be next week, maybe the week after. Do I want to plan to order delivery one night? So I think for me, like, obviously, like, number one thing when it comes to training, consistency. I always say, like, consistency is key. I have been working really hard to build my consistency back, but I think, like, the next thing I really need to work on is just planning ahead a little bit more and making sure, like, I'm ready to go so that I'm not having nights like tonight. Like, I got home from work. I did not want to do that hour bike ride. I honestly almost just, like, flipped my schedule around to move it to Friday and take the 35-minute easy ride from Friday and put it today. I was like, that kind of defeats the point. Like, obviously, intervals need to be earlier in the week because that's, like, going into Saturday when I've got the longer ride. So definitely need to just maybe, like, try and block some time out on Sundays and just sit down and kind of plan my week ahead of time a little bit better. Not only for training, which I already do because I use Training Peaks, but I also need to sit down and plan, like, food. Am I going to my office certain days? Like, stuff like that as well. And hopefully that'll help me with not kind of hitting days like today where, honestly, I just kind of felt awful this afternoon. Feel great now, though, thanks to endorphins. So I am going to end the video here and go start to edit.